Good morning, my dear children. I hope you are safe and secure. Welcome back to our social studies online class, Geography 5th lesson, Indian rivers and water resources. In the previous class, you have studied Indian rivers and water resources, the Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. The Himalayan rivers belong to the three principal systems, the Indus, the Ganga and Brahmaputra. Peninsular rivers. The Western Ghats are the water divide between the major peninsular rivers discharging their water in the Bay of Bengal and small rivulets joining the Arabian Sea. Most of the major peninsular rivers, Narmada, except Narmada and Tapi, flow from west to the east. Remaining Krishna, Godavari and Kaveri, Tungabhadra, Mahanadi, these all are join in Bay of Bengal. Only Narmada and Tapi join in Arabian Sea. Next topic, water use. Water flowing out via surface flow and groundwater. So in olden days, water inflow were more whereas outflow were less. But nowadays, today the situation is in reverse. In olden days, uses of water was less. Water resources were used only for domestic purpose and agriculture purposes. Even the agriculture areas were less, so the need of water was also less. But on the other side, due to the less pollution, the seasonal changes were occurring in time and there was an abundant rainfalls. So we can say that in olden days the water inflow were more whereas outflow were less. But situation is reverse. Nowadays, now we can see the total reverse situation to the olden days. Nowadays, due to the overpopulation, agriculture areas has been expanded. So there the need for irrigation, domestic needs of the people for water also been increased. Next, due to the industrial revolution, many industries are established throughout of the world which increase the use of water to great extent. But due to the new technological agriculture methods and industries and pollution in all aspects also been increased, which resulted in insufficient and irregular rainfalls. Water for agriculture. Water reaches the root zone of crops either through rainfalls or the process of irrigation. There is a capacity of the soil to store moisture. If there is excess water such as a flood and this is not able to percolate below, it would damage the roots. On the other hand, in a drought situation, if there is not enough moisture in the root zone, the crop will wither with. Next, water use for domestic purpose and for animals. Water use for drinking, cooking, washing, cleaning and for animal is vital. Planning is needed for this component to increase the availability so that a minimum amount is actually made available to all irrespective of their income. Water for industrial use. Water is required for manufacturing process and this demand often compete with domestic and agriculture uses. This need to be taken into account as this conflict is on the increase. The challenge area that industrial use face are recycling of water and control of pollution. Next one, water use in Tungabhadra river basin. Let us discuss the issue of Tungabhadra river, Tungabhadra region, which is a major attraction of in South India when it comes to Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka region. It is a major issue of disputes. They have all people, Karnataka people and Andhra people fighting for Tungabhadra water resources. Let us see here the contaminant area. Tungabhadra shared by the three southern states Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh is the tributary of larger river system Krishna. It originates in the Western Ghats, which a catchment area of 71,417 square kilometers and which 57,671 square meters area in Karnataka. The Tungabhadra basin has two parts, the upper and middle catchment in Karnataka and the lower portion of the catchment in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So, 57% area falls in Karnataka region, remaining region falls in the Andhra region, where the portion of rainfalls is very less and completely dry. So, should ask water level for Tungabhadra or not? Obviously. We generally ask water levels because proper supply of water level. At the same time, we remember that 57,000 square kilometers catchment area required to be supplied water, same Tungabhadra region. So, Karnataka also same equal rate to ask them to supply of water. Now, coming to the next topic, capacity of the Tungabhadra dam over 50 years. The Tungabhadra dam has gradually lost its water storage capacity over the decades. About 50 years ago, the capacity of the reservoir was 3,766 million cubic meters. Now with accumulation of silt due to mining, dust, soil erosion and debris, the reservoir has lost its storage capacity by as much as 849 million cubic meters of water. So, Tungabhadra river basin, the capacity of reservoir was 3,766 million cubic meters, but it has come down 849 million cubic meters because of various reasons like silt, soil erosion, debris and because of major issues, mining issues. There are no mining standard levels in the Karnataka region, especially at the place of Sandur. The mining water and cleaning everything released into the same lakes and the same water carried with the soil erosion and other dust is brought into the dam. So, dam was completely filled with the layers of the soil, all these things. When it's to come upper part only, we see the water levels upper part. So, settled down and down part of the dam has to be removed clearly, and it's not possible has to be removed clearly. No, it is not possible. Why? Because upper part was filled with water. How can we remove the soil? It is very difficult and challenging task in Tungabhadra Dam issue. During the last 2 decades, there has been an increasing trend in the number of small towns and industrial areas. While increased industrialization and growth of urban areas have improved standard of living for some, the same activities have caused pollution, especially by industrial units. At the same time, various like 27 larger units and 2543 small units which required daily supply of water and multiplying the number of cities and the towns in the area of Karnataka. So they have emerged. The need for the water day to day. One more major issue in 1984, when industries released molasses into the lakes, and these lakes were spoiled, many fish were killed. So industries that was the first time issue addressed that industries should not release molasses which are contaminated into the freshwater bodies and spoil them unnecessarily. So that's why environment should not be disturbed at all. So the Tungabhadra river water used properly and valuably with a certain limits, and at the same time industries should not release waste into the fresh lakes and spoil the environment balance. Next one, rational and equable use of water. An example here, Hiware Bazar. Hiware Bazar was selected under the Adarsh Gram Yojana of Maharashtra government for watershed and all-round development of the village. Hiware Bazar is located in Ahmednagar district in Maharashtra. It is situated on the eastern rain shadow side of the Sahyadri mountain ranges that run north-south and separate Konkan, the coastal region, from the rest of Maharashtra. Hiware Bazar is located in Ahmednagar district in Maharashtra near the coastal area. Hiware Bazar village people, some activities are taken up in the Hiware Bazar. That one, first one, continuous contour trenches, CCT, continuous contour trenches were dug on the hill slopes to arrest the erosion of soil. Next, harvest water and encourage growth of grass. A number of water harvesting structures were also built in the village like check dams, percolation tanks and loose boulder structures. So continuous contour trenches were dug on the hill slopes to arrest the erosion of soil, harvest water and encouraging the growth of grass. Next, plantation of the forest land. Next, some harvesting structures built in the village like check dams, percolation tanks and loose boulders. Next one, Adarsh Gram Yojana was launched in Maharashtra. There were also some preconditions set for selections of villages. Most important were the 4 bandis. That one, bandis means bands, 4 bands. First one, Kurah Bandi. First one, Kurah Bandi, ban on felling trees. Next one, Cherai Bandi, ban on free grazing. Next one, Nashbandi, family planning. Next, Nashabandi means ban on liquor. People also had to agree to a certain amount of Shramadan. Shramadan means voluntary physical labors, except for the landless who were exempt from it. So, this is 2-mark important question. What were the conditions set by Maharashtra government for the selection of the village under Grama Yojana? So, first one, Kurabandi, ban on felling trees. Next one, Charabandi, ban on free grazing. Next one, Nashbandi, family planning. Next, Nashabandi, ban on liquor. Next one, Shramadan. Shramadan means voluntary physical labors. This is 2-mark important question. Next one, tree felling and open grazing was common among both rich and poor households. Means ban on felling trees and ban on free grazing. So though there was a ban on free grazing, people were allowed to cut grass and to carry it to feed animals. Next point, there are other bans in the village which were added later. Most significant was the ban on borewells for irrigation, growing sugarcane and banana, and selling one's land to any outsiders. So, plantation on the forest lands, no digging of borewells for irrigation, and no water intensive crops and thumb rule type of things in raising crops depending on rains. So, no digging borewells for irrigation. Next one, the main thing is in the social control over groundwater extraction and use no borewells for irrigation, only drinking water. No water intensive crops like sugarcane and paddy. Water for irrigation should be taken only through dug wells. So, the social control over groundwater extractions, not to use borewells for irrigation purpose, not to grow water intensive crops like sugarcane, paddy, and water for irrigation should be taken only through the dug wells. Next thing, to grow rabi crops during good rainfall years, to reduce the area under rabi during scanty rainfall years. Next topic, water as a common pool resource. Over the past few decades, groundwater has become the main source of water, especially for domestic use and agriculture. So, this tremendous increase in the use of groundwater has significant impact on water availability and access to it. So, current laws about groundwater in many states are both outdated and inappropriate. So, current laws on groundwater use are inappropriate because the basic link between access to groundwater and land ownership. That's why nowadays there is a growing awareness on uses of water. Every drop of water is to be saved. The government are making laws and controlling utilization of groundwater. Groundwater is also public property concerning all the people around it. Everyone has right use to it. The government has to take serious action against indiscrimination, digging of borewells and overdrawing of water. Let us see the dispute over water use between the Perumarthi Gram Panchayati in Kerala and the Coca-Cola company. For example, here given dispute over use between the Gram Panchayati Kerala and Coca-Cola company. Here discriminate digging of borewells and extracting it for industries led to lowering of water levels in grounds and contamination of water. So the contaminated water is not useful for drinking. So the contaminated water is not useful for drinking. However, when the issue brought to the court, the judge are having different opinions. So the judge given the two decisions given by the judge in Kerala. First one is the judge found that groundwater is a public resource meant for all and that the state has a duty to protect it against excessive exploitation. Second, the second judge asserted the primacy of landowners' control over groundwater. This shows the confusion over laws on using water. In this lesson, in the first section, we look at the river system and the diverse physiographic condition that we find in India, Indian river system, the Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. And next, how we could be more judicious and fair is examined through the case study of Tungabhadra river basin. Next, the efforts of the people of Hiware Bazar village. Next, water resources require both collective actions at the local level and appropriate laws and policies at the state and national level. Okay children, I hope all understood the topic. Thank you.